Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jayla. So I wanted to go over my 2025 ins and outs while I get ready. So the first one that I have on my list for my ins is doing things that make me happy. So I started doing beginning of 2024 a lot of things that I really have always wanted to try since I was younger. I started doing ballet and I started doing Pilates. I started working out more, and my goal was really to work on doing more artwork too. And I did most of those things. I stuck with ballet the most, and I still try to go to it every week. And for Pilates, I started doing more at home workouts because it was a bit hard for me to try to go out to Pilates classes along with ballet every week or or just like on a consistent basis. And I really dropped the ball with doing artwork this year. And that's something I definitely want to work on more for 2025 because that's what brings me so much joy. I definitely did a lot of digital artwork, but I'm more of a traditional artist, and that's what I'm trained in, and that's what I went to school for. So I want to try to get back into it and really make it a priority to have more time for that. And then for my second in for 2025, I have staying hydrated. I really struggle a lot with trying to drink enough water and staying hydrated throughout the day because I really don't like water, and I also have a very small bladder. So if I'm like at work or in a social setting or something like that, I try not to drink too many liquids just because it goes right through me. And sometimes it's really hard for me to get the motivation to drink enough water or use my water bottles. So I'm really going to try to work on that for the new year. For my next in, I have meditation and affirmations. I want to get more into that. At the beginning of 2024, I was doing really good with affirmations, listening to podcast videos, or just saying it to myself in the mirror. And I really fell off of that after doing it for like a few months consistently. I feel like I did it pretty well for about 3-4 months, and then uh, I kind of just fell off of it, and I really want to get back into it for the new year. And I've always loved meditating, but I don't really give myself the time in the day to actually take a break and really do it. So I want to try to get back into that too. For my next in, I really want to do more walking, take more walks, just like leisurely. I take my dog out for walks, but I don't actually just try to be in the moment of taking a walk, if that makes any sense. I started taking a lot of walks in the very beginning of COVID, and I really, really enjoyed it. I would go on walks for hours at a time, or at least like an hour. And obviously, I don't have the same kind of time that I did then when we were like in lockdown to be able to do that. But I really want to at least try to do one walk a week for like I don't know, maybe like 20, 30 minutes, I feel like I can definitely manage a time like that. And it helps me so much to clear my head and just take a break and reset. Being out in nature helps me so much. So for my next in, I have being in the moment. And I think that I already generally do pretty well with this one, but I just want to make sure that I'm keeping at the forefront of every year to keep reminding myself, because sometimes I let outside things really get in my head and I start overthinking things and I just let a moment pass me by because I'm thinking about things that aren't even happening right there in that moment. And I allow my brain to be overactive and thinking about like worst case scenarios when it's really just not necessary to be doing that. So I think that's something I really want to try to work on. So for my next one, I really want to practice gratitude a bit more. I feel like I thought that I was doing a pretty good job of it, and I already do practice gratitude, but I know I could be doing better with just staying grounded and really being appreciative of what I already have in my life and not always trying to focus on what's next and what more do I want, instead trying to think about what do I already possess and being grateful for that and really just showing appreciation for the people and the things that are in my life. So for my next in, I have setting boundaries and speaking up for myself. This is something that I really used to struggle with a lot. I've gotten way better at it in 2024, and I want to keep that momentum going and not backtrack to where I'm becoming a people pleaser again. So in 2024, I did a really good job with setting boundaries with friends, family, co-workers, and it took a lot out of me. And I had a really hard time getting to that point. I had to cut some people off and really stand my ground in 2024, which was, it really got me out of my comfort zone. I had a lot of issues going on in my family and a lot of issues going on at my previous workplace that I had to leave because a particular person kept crossing my boundaries, and I finally was able to stand up for myself, and it made such a huge difference in my mental health. I felt so much better after I confronted them and was able to really stand up for myself and leave that situation. For my next one, I have skincare. I feel like I really have my other routines down packed. I have a really straightforward routine of what I do with my makeup, my hair, things like that. But as far as skincare, I don't really have a routine. And the somewhat routine that I do have, I'm not consistent with it. So I really want to try my best to get better at that and better my skin overall. I don't usually have too many issues, but I do have some acne scarring and have some blemishes here and there that pop up in like the same kind of places over and over again. So I want to try my best to really get a grapple and an understanding of how my skin is and what I can do to better it. For my outs for 2025, I don't have very many, just because I feel like I really want to focus on what I want to improve on versus what needs to go away. I feel like those kind of already go hand in hand. and they kind of cancel each other out. So I don't put too many on my out list just because I feel like it's pretty straightforward of what my out would be based off of what my ins are. So for my first out that I have, it's negative self-talk. For me, negative self-talk is always going to be, I feel like, my number one downfall in life. I am constantly doubting myself, constantly thinking that I'm not good enough, or I don't do things in the right way, or that I'm disappointing the people around me or disappointing myself, and so on and so forth. And I really don't give myself enough credit ever. So it's always going to be something that's on my list that I really want to work on, is trying to have more positive self-talk and trying to be more realistic with myself, both in a good and a bad way. Well, not a bad way, but just in a realistic way of really seeing myself from an outward perspective versus how I overthink about myself in my head. What else do I need to do? Pretty much done, honestly. So for my next one, I feel like this one kind of goes hand in hand with the previous one, but it's comparison. I've had a really hard time the last just couple months with comparison, as far as I'm in my mid-20s, and when you start to get into your mid-20s, all your peers or your friends and people around you are in such completely different life paths that it can be so hard to really not compare yourself and be realistic that everybody is in their own path in life. And it can be so hard for me sometimes to feel like there's something wrong with me, or I'm behind, or just really overthinking things way too much. And it feels like every day someone's getting engaged, someone's having a baby, someone just bought a house. Like, the scale of where people are in life is just so drastic on completely different spectrums that it's so hard for me sometimes to really have a outward and realistic perspective that my life is my life and their life is their life. My next one, I have high screen time. I feel like I don't usually have a hard time with this one, but whenever I am feeling really stuck or just really tired at the end of the night, I get into this mode where I'm just on my phone scrolling for hours because I just can't be bothered with anything else. And I really want to work on that because it sucks up so much of my time. I could be doing something more productive. And I just think that even if I am going to be doing screen time, I want to evaluate my screen time and know whether or not it's being used in the proper way, or limit myself to a certain time period. For my next one, I have overworking myself and overthinking. I think that I definitely overwork myself a lot in 2024. Towards the end of it, I've been doing a lot better, but I have a mindset where if I'm not always doing something, I feel like I'm failing, or I feel like I'm behind, or I feel like there's something wrong with me. And I just feel really icky about myself. I really love to stay busy all the time. So I really want to work on that and changing my mindset that rest can also be really productive and really efficient for my time, and not feeling like I always need to be on go, 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 you know? And with overthinking, I have so many things going on in my head all the time. It can be really hard for me to just stop and really evaluate, why do I feel a certain way? And I feel like I work things up in my head so much because I think about it and I think about it and I analyze it, and it's really not as astronomical as I try to make it out to be in my head. If I really just take the time to evaluate, why am I feeling like this? What triggered me to feel like this? And how can I go about making this feeling go away in a healthy way? So those are my 2025 ins and outs. Pretty short list, but I feel like it's all things that are really pivotal and that can really transform my life in 2025. And maybe it's something that you can add onto your list too that'll help you out. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.